morning. It is Tuesday, September 21st. It is 8:30 a.m. It is my pleasure to welcome fellow commissioners, staff, guests to the Finance and Physical Resources Committee this morning. Thank you so much for taking your time to come to the meeting. We appreciate you being here. With that, we will go to agenda item number 1, which is our consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Okay, we have moved by Commissioner Breeve, support by Commissioner Sparks. We will take any questions or comments on the consent agenda. All right, seeing none, all those in favor of passing the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. That brings us to item number 2 from the Administrator's Office. Al, would you please read the
Sure.
action request?
Yes, action requested to approve the administrative CIP project proposal to be included in the county's 2022 budget resolution. The 2022 CIP requests were reviewed and a recommendation was prepared by a staff committee including representation from Facilities Management, Information Technology, Sheriff, and Fiscal Services. The administrative CIP proposal was reviewed in detail by the County Board of Commissioners. The proposal includes 42 projects at an anticipated cost of $12,426,422 as identified on the 2022 CIP project recommendation summary. Financing for the proposal is anticipated to be drawn from general fund support of $7,978,447 and $4,447,975 from other sources. The board CIP policy calls for a minimum of the equivalent of 0.20 mils to be allocated to the CIP budget annually. The general fund support for the 2022 CIP proposal equates to the equivalent of 0.30 mils. With the concurrence of the Finance and Physical Resources Committee, funding for these projects will be included in the 2022 budget resolution scheduled for board approval on November 18, 2021.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Breeve and support by Commissioner Sparks. We will take questions and comments after I have Al just cover one point,
Sure.
which was a change that was made after our work session. There was more discussion and review on one main point. Al, would you please cover that?
Yes, there's $350,000 included that was not previously for seasonal restrooms in the Parks Department and the state police property. The cost associated with redeveloping that was moved into the next CIP as we don't own the property yet.
Thank you. Now we'll take questions, comments, and discussion. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me turn on my microphone here. Thanks. Real happy to see that we're in a position to really dedicate more to our capital improvement process than just the 2 mills. I think that it's really good to be in a position that we can take care of our infrastructure, and happy to see that we're able to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Commissioner Bukowski.
Thank you, Chair. My question is definitely echoing Commissioner Morgan's sentiment that it's good that we take care of our property because it gets more expensive when we don't. That being said, how does all of this align with the ARP funding that's lurking out there, and that, at least rumor is, that's to be focused more on one-time expenditures?
Right.
And so when are we going to start looking at that, or are you already looking at that with staff and how best to invest those additional dollars?
Yes, we had a very kind of general framework that was submitted with the first report deadline. And so we actually have a meeting this week to try to flesh that out more and also then put a process together for how we're going to get input and that type of thing. But that is a priority to get that figured out sooner than later.
Right, and that, so sooner, the American Recovery Act, so
Also known as ARPA.
ARPA. Yeah, the extra dollars we got from our great grandkids.
Okay, Commissioner Antor?
Thank you, Chair. kind of lost track of some of the damage that was incurred during the riot from a year or so ago. Do we know how that, the buildings that we owned that we didn't have insurance for, how much of that, what that total bill was to make those repairs and ultimately how we paid for that?
I do not. We can get that information unless someone from staff has that information this morning. We will get that to you.
Okay, anyone else? All right, not seeing anything else. All those in favor of passing agenda item number 2, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. That brings us to item number 3 from the Administrator's Office. Al?
Yes, action requested. Recommend to the Board of Commissioners to award a $17,500 contract to Early Learning Neighborhood Collaborative for fatherhood parenting classes and support groups. The Board of Commissioners annually appropriates funds to the Department of Health and Human Services through an open request for proposals process. Programs and services included in the current unmet needs category are those agencies and programs that annually receive assistance due to an absence of other funding sources, their ability to leverage significant other resources, or are in support of a cooperative effort of multiple funding sources. The Board of Commissioners awarded $17,500 to Family Promise on December 3, 2020 as part of the 2021 Unmet Needs Funding Contract. Family Promise was unable to utilize the award due to challenges related to COVID-19 and has elected to return the $17,500. The DHHS Board recommends that the $17,500 be reprogrammed and awarded to Early Learning Neighborhood Collaborative for fatherhood parenting classes and support groups. Early Learning Neighborhood Collaborative had previously been awarded $10,000 for fatherhood planning classes from the 2021 Unmet Needs budget.
Okay, is there a motion to approve? Support. Okay, moved from Commissioner Sparks, supported by Commissioner Bulkowski. Questions, comments, and discussion? We'll start with Commissioner Wooden.
Thank you, Chair. Just very briefly, just wanted to disclose that ELNC is a prospective tenant of my employer. While this grant will not directly impact that tenancy, I don't know if there is a direct conflict of interest, though I am happy to abstain to avoid any concerns.
Linda?
So long as there's no direct financial impact to you or your family, there's no direct conflict that requires you to recuse yourself.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Antor.
Thank you, Chair. Could you go, just kind of go over the challenges that were created by COVID that would keep Family Promise from utilizing the funds?
Commissioner, my name is Paul Peter, and a lot of the agencies, human service agencies, were having difficulty with actually offering services face-to-face. And clients were sometimes unable to put themselves at risk. So that is primarily the reason.
Okay, the money was given to a different unit.
Yes, that's correct. It was given to a different unit that said that they could actually utilize those funds as needed. So they were actually able to provide services, whether it be teleconferencing or over the phone, or currently in person now.
I was just wondering why the first unit didn't do the same thing.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? All right, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. We have item number 4 from the Drain Commission. Al?
Action requested. Recommend to the Board of Commissioners to authorize the Drain Commissioner to initiate action to increase the level of Dean Lake located in Grand Rapids and Plainfield Charter Townships and to be improved by an outlet. The Kent County Drain Commissioner is a delegated authority and has been requested by Dean Lake residents to increase the lake level and that it be improved by an outlet. No objections to the action have been received. Pursuant to Section 307 of Public Act 451 of 1994 as amended, the Board of Commissioners must initiate action to revise the lake level for the protection of the public health, welfare, and safety and in the conservation of the natural resources of the state, and to preserve property values around the lake. The Circuit Court makes the final decision on whether a lake level shall be established and the level at which it is established. If the lake level is approved by the Circuit Court, all costs associated with amending the lake level shall be borne by property owners and other entities via special assessments to the extent authorized by Part 307.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Wooden, supported by Commissioner Morgan. We'll take questions, comments, and discussion, and we'll start with Commissioner Wooden.
Thank you, Chair. Just because I don't believe we've had lake level discussions while I've been here on the commission, could someone map out the public health, welfare, safety, and conservation and preservation of property values? I do understand how lake levels could affect that, but a little bit more on the first group of concerns that lake levels could affect. Just, I'm not a biologist. I would just like to hear a little bit more about that.
Sure. I don't think anyone's here from the drain.
Oh, yeah,
do.
we
Ken.
have lots
Wow,
of
right in the
people
front
here
row.
from the
Very good.
drain.
Ready to go.
Why don't we have the Drain Commissioner come on up and address that question, Ken?
I will try, yeah, very brief. We do have.
You don't
one-
have to be very brief.
We
Take your time to make sure we have the answer.
All right. We do have a property owner here amongst us as well, that he can address you on that as well. And Joe Morgan, my senior engineer, is very knowledgeable, so if I can't fill your question well, one of them I'm sure can. Want to repeat the question?
I was just wondering, what are the public health, welfare, and safety concerns with Dean Lake currently, or is it predominantly a property values concern?
Well, the lake is used for recreation, and so when it's at its regular level, they're having trouble with their boats at the docks and so forth. So it does create a health hazard if you're skiing and then you get into some shallow areas. So it's not probably a public safety issue as much as it is property value issue.
Full consent.
So, right, so it doesn't have to be all of those. If it hits one or two, it's legitimate criteria.
Perfect. And it says other entities via special assessment beyond the property owners. What are other entities beyond the property owners?
Other entities would be, for an example, if the township has a boat launch, they would also be responsible.
And then lastly, I see we actually have two resolutions before us. We've got this one that followed the action request, and then there's the attached one that's also from the Board of Commissioners. If I may, which one are we approving go to the board, or are we technically approving both, or? which
Well,
one?
it's one resolution that it goes through the committee, and then from here it goes to the full board. Lake levels are the commissioner's responsibility. I'm just your grunt,
Gotcha.
so to speak. So it is your responsibility on all lake levels.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, agenda item number 4 passes. That will bring us to agenda item number 5, also from the Drain Commission. Al?
Action requested. Recommend to the Board of Commissioners to authorize the Drain Commissioner to initiate action to review computation of costs of lake level control maintenance and a special assessment role for Pine Lake located in Nelson Township, Ziegenfuss Lake located in Oakfield Township, and 5 lakes located in Spencer and Oakfield Townships. The Drain Commissioner is the delegated authority for Pine Lake, Ziegenfuss Lake, and 5 lakes lake levels. Lake level control structures are regulated under Section 22 of Part 307, inland lake levels, and are required to be inspected by a licensed professional engineer every 3 years and report the inspections to the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy, EGLE. Engineering and administrative costs are then assessed back to the respective special assessment district. In accordance with the Lake Level Act, Act 451 of 1994, Section 324.30714, subsection 3, the county board must approve the special assessment rolls by resolution. The Drain Commissioner conducted a hearing on the assessments on August 15, 2021, where the Drain Commissioner received comments on the rolls and confirmed them. There were no objections.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move it.
Support. Okay, moved by Commissioner Morgan, supported by Commissioner Breve. We will take questions, comments, and discussion on agenda item number 5. All right, Commissioner Bukowski.
Yeah, I can't have Drain Commissioner off the hook so easy this morning. But just, this seems like a pretty regular, standard thing that y'all do. And
Correct.
we have a lot of lakes out there, and I just assumed we would see a lot more of these, and again, I know my memory's starting to wane, but it seems like this is the first time something like this, at this kind of low level, is hitting us.
I'll let my deputy address that, because she is much more fluent on that question.
There's only a few lake levels that are under our jurisdiction that have a lake level. And so we have in the past, I think it was in 2007, went through this as well. Unless there is any funds that are in negative, that we would actually need to go through this. So the other lakes that we do have jurisdiction over have not had a negative balance. So we haven't.
All right, thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Morgan.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. Just to put this in perspective, back at that time, there was a drought going on. They actually tried to drill some wells to help the lake level. So this isn't anything out of the ordinary as far as what you're doing, right?
It is not.
Thank you. Just trying to help you out there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It seems pretty standard that we
The-
see it more regularly.
There's legislation that'll actually go through as well, hopefully, within
Yeah.
the last year, that actually will allow us to do assessments on lower, less than $10,000 assessment rolls. So we wouldn't have to come to you every time for the minor assessment.
If it's under 10, that's in the process, more likely that should pass this year, or lame duck.
Well,
Another discussion.
you have more confidence than I do.
Okay, any other questions, comments, or discussion on agenda item number 5? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. That brings us to item number 6 from the Health Department. Al?
Action requested. Recommend to the Board of Commissioners to approve the Spectrum Health Foundation contract for 2021-2022, accept and appropriate $92,507 to the 2021-22 Health Fund budget for the Strong Beginnings Latina program, and to authorize the board chair or designee to execute the grant agreement, approve extensions, amendments, and increases to the grant appropriation not to exceed 15% of the original award. For many years, the Hispanic Latinx populations in Kent County have experienced disparities in birth outcomes with infant mortality rates 2 times higher than Caucasians. The Spectrum Health Foundation's Strong Beginnings Grant Program has been created and funded through the W.K. Kellogg Foundation to address the disparity in the IMR. The Strong Beginnings program goals are to reduce the infant mortality rate for the Hispanic Latinx populations, to reduce the barriers to care for pregnant women, infants, and toddlers through community outreach, case management, and education, to improve care through improved screening and coordination, and to engage the community to advocate for culturally competent care. The Health Department provides outreach, support, and case management services to Hispanic Latinx families who live in Kent County and are pregnant or the parent of a child 0 to 2 years of age. The agreement period for the Spectrum Health Foundation contract is September 1, 2021 through February 28, 2022. Corporate Counsel will review and approve all documents as to form prior to signature.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Wow, that was, we'll go with motion by Commissioner Breve, support by Commissioner Sparks, and we'll take questions, comments, and discussion on item number 6. Yes, Commissioner Bukowski.
Yeah, this comment is this and the next item, since they both deal with Strong Beginnings program. And it's, the first bullet point in the summary, again, as a community, our infant mortality rates are still higher for babies of color. But my comment is more that I would like to see almost a third bullet point inserted that, because we get this on an annual basis for many years, and this is where the disconnect between our two committees kind of comes forward to me, where that third bullet point would be, and we've achieved this, where this just says what the goals are, and this is what the health department's gonna do with these dollars, but just like that small historical note to say, and we have been bending the curve down, so it's, again, yeah, in my day job, I have my tin cup in front of foundations, and they wouldn't say yes if we weren't achieving those outcomes on a continued basis. So, I don't know, just kind of tying the performance to this, and again, not much more than a sentence to say, and we continue to do exactly that. Make sense?
Well,
Yes.
and
All right.
to follow up on that, certainly there's some data from the years that we've had this where
Right.
I think addressing that data would be helpful, right? Because,
Yeah, I mean, LHR gets the full report, and I would assume with the early childhood committee that Commissioner Sparks said gets to meet this week many times, that all of this kind of comes back together for the 0 to 5. But just, again, just to help tie it here, that, yep, not only do we intend this, but we've been doing it. We still got work to do, but the curves, we're doing the right thing, I guess.
right, you're looking
Not to
to
brag it up, I still want us to be
add
humble.
the numbers
but
and see that the needle is moving in the right direction
Just
with a point on this. Do we
Not-
have comments?
Not a page, a sentence. That's what I'm looking
Come
for.
on up. Well, let's have at least a verbal point on it now, Commissioner
Yes,
Bogowski.
I'm making a note of that. We can get you that information too. That's not a problem. I don't happen to have the exact numbers, with me, so I wouldn't want to try to make them up. But we can definitely get you that information. So I know it's been improving, obviously, but we're still not there. So obviously, the reason why we continue to get the funding to, help with the improvements.
Commissioner Sparks?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I disagree with Commissioner Bukowski because all too often in, the media world or in, the world of our constituents, they don't see the numbers, they don't see the information, they just see funding going out. And it would be nice for them to know that we are moving the needle somewhat. So thank you for that.
That makes perfect sense. So we'll
A sentence.
we'll include it for the.
A sentence.
Commissioner Morgan?
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. I think that's worthwhile because we've been battling this for, 20 years? So.
About 20
I mean,
years.
First time you were around, Al, so,
Yeah.
I mean, we've been in this, and I think it'd be nice to say, hey, we stuck with it, and we are bending the curve, so, thanks.
Commissioner Antor?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I would like to see kind of conversely, just also, what leads up to these deaths? What are the factors? And what is it specifically that we're trying to do? Is there, do we have tendencies one way or another? Is it over a broad range of things that are causing these deaths? I don't know if we've ever talked about that. We just say X amount of people in this group die. But I don't know if I've ever heard the reasons.
Yeah, this did
Shortcomings.
actually start my first time around Kent County, and there was a huge amount of information, actually by race on infant mortality, which kind of was a foundation for the initiative. So, I mean, I'd love to catch up on it myself and just see what's been done over the years. So we can definitely take a look at that and provide that information.
If it was lack of medical attention, is that the overriding, or?
There were a number of different cultural factors. I really don't remember. It was 21 years ago, I think, that we launched that.
I'd be
So-
interested in seeing a report.
I was going to just add one comment to that. Through the Ready by Five, the early childhood millage, we did get funding for a FEMR, the fetal mortality review position, who's going to be looking at all those deaths and creating and getting that information. That there had been a person that was through Spectrum Health, and that person, I mean, we haven't had that position for probably 3 years. So, I think we'll start getting a lot more of that information too through that.
Yeah.
So that person, I think, now is through the health department and started earlier this year. So we should be able to go back and start getting some of those reports that had been done before.
Because if we're coming up short in a certain area, it'd be nice to know exactly where we're lacking still, so we could kind of pinpoint that area of concern, as opposed to just kind of, we don't know exactly what's going on without those numbers to see what we can do. Thank you.
Commissioner Womack?
Yes, I want to thank you for your work, and I know it's been a big help in the community. What capacity of mothers and families are you helping each year?
Each of our community health workers has a caseload of about 30 to 35, and we have 6 community health workers currently. So that caseload can be anywhere from 6 months to 2 years, so, probably close to 200 that we're helping through this. Now, we're not also the only partner that Spectrum has for, through the Strong Beginnings programs. There's other partners in the community that also have community health workers, so those numbers are just for the health department.
Excellent, thank you.
Hey, anyone else? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. That brings us to item number 7, also from the Health Department. Al?
Action requested, recommend to the Board of Commissioners to approve the Spectrum Health Hospitals contract for 2021-22, accept and appropriate $399,564 to the 2021-22 Health Fund budget for the Strong Beginnings Pay for Success program, and authorize the board chair or designee to execute the grant agreement, approve extensions, amendments, and increases to the grant appropriation not to exceed 15% of the original award. Strong Beginnings is a home visiting program that uses community health workers to work alongside nurses and social workers in the maternal and infant health program to provide services that do not require the skill or expertise of a nurse or social worker. The Strong Beginnings program goals are to improve birth outcomes and decrease the rate of infant mortality, to reduce the barriers to care for pregnant women, infants, and toddlers through community outreach, case management, and education, to improve care for pregnant women through improved screening and coordination, and to engage the community to advocate for culturally competent care. The Health Department provides outreach support and case management services to high-risk women who live in Kent County and are pregnant or the parent of a child 0 to 2 years of age. The agreement period for the Spectrum Health Hospitals contract is September 1, 2021 through August 31, 2022. The Corporate Counsel will review and approve all documents as to form prior to signature.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
All right, moved by Commissioner Womack, support by Commissioner Breve. We'll take questions, comments, and discussion on agenda item number 7. All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. That brings us to item number 7, item number 8, from the Board of Commissioners Fiscal Services. Al?
Action requested, recommend to the Board of Commissioners to authorize the winter 2021 County Corrections and Detention millage, Senior Services millage levy, Veteran Services millage levy, Zoo Museum millage levy, and Ready by 5 millage levy. The County Administrator Controller is preparing a recommended budget for the fiscal year 2022. Included in the proposed budget will be programming and appropriations necessary to support operation debt service requirements for the county corrections detention facilities, senior services programming, veteran services programming, zoo museum operations, and Ready by 5 programming. On August 5, 2008, August 5, 2014, November 4, 2014, and November 8, 2016, and November 6, 2018, county electors authorized dedicated property tax millages in support of county corrections, detention facilities, senior services, veteran services, zoo museum operations, and Ready by 5 programming, respectively. The resolution will authorize the levy of 1.9671 mills, which includes 0.7645 mills for operating debt service requirements for county corrections and detention, 0.4842 mills for senior services, 0.0482 mills for veteran services, 0.4261 mills for zoo museum operations, and 0.2441 for Ready by 5 programming. Funds derived from the levy of these millages will be utilized to support these services in the fiscal 2022 county budget.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Thank you.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Womack and support by Commissioner Wooden, and we'll take questions, comments, and discussion on agenda item number 8. All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. That will bring us to item number 9 on the agenda, which is public comment. Is there any public that would like to address the Finance and Physical Resources Committee this morning? All right, seeing none, I will close public comment. We'll go to miscellaneous. Is there any Commissioner miscellaneous this morning? Commissioner Bukowski.
Thank you, Chair. Just to draw everybody's attention back up to the item that was in the consent agenda. I chose not to make comment at that time just because it, that beautiful intersection with my day job and this job. But to point out that that purchase order that we approved, or that granting of $810,000 to help in the construction of 6 new 3-bedroom units. And the point to make is that one of them will be accessible of 6. And that, meets federal requirements, meets state requirements, not complain. Of course, if it violated the law, I might have said something earlier. But to say, how do we as a commission really look at that when we're investing dollars in the capital realm, how best to include inclusive design. I know Al and his team, when we do something for public, we take that stuff into consideration and we go beyond the ADA. As we like to say, the ADA is the worst you can legally do. You don't get gold stars for compliance. Here, of course, as another note, the ADA doesn't apply to single-family construction other than very small areas, and so the Uniform Federal Accessibility Standard comes into play. I could go to the whiteboard after the meeting if you want me to, but again, just as a entity, the reality will be that we'll have an awesome accessible home for one family, and that family won't be able to very likely visit their neighbors because the home won't have a zero-step entrance, the other 5 that is. And so how do we create community with intention, because right now it's going to be an unintended consequence when we do this kind of stuff. So more later, the invitation to come see us at 160 68th Street Southwest, former South Christian High, and our Home Accessibility Center to teach folks just that. So good stuff, and hopefully we'll continue to do better.
Yes, Commissioner Wooden.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick question on our agenda format. Previously, public comment has been one of the first items we've attended, and now it's after our matters. Did I miss when that change happened?
It varies. I moved it, is the answer. So,
Chairs can do that.
yeah.
Cool.
So, yep.
Just trying to help you out.
We did that at our last finance meeting. I thought it worked well. I've left it now at the end. So I also think there's a lot of points where that makes sense. If you have agenda items where we address something and people want to comment on what we did, they don't have to wait till the next meeting to say, hey, at that last meeting, you did this, this, and this, and I wanted to comment on that. So this gives them to come in, they can talk about what they have on their minds. If they have anything on the front end, hopefully they have contacted you directly before you even sat down. That's the only part that this leaves open, is if there was something before we make a decision, we've moved public comment to the end, but the flip side is, after it's been done, they're able to talk about it to us without having to come back to the next meeting. So for now, I'm going to leave it at the end and just see how this works.
Fair enough. Thank you.
All right, miscellaneous that I wanted to hit, going back to our CIP, I was curious when we have the time frame on where we might own that police building. Do we have we have a target time for that, Al?
We met with Senator Brinks last week, and we believe that the bill will be submitted soon, and in order for the state to transfer the property to the county.
Okay.
So,
And then maybe just a minute to cover the plan for the bathrooms money that's hopefully going to pass at board. Can we just have a highlight of that, Al? What your thoughts were to help alleviate some of the challenges with the off-season use, so to speak, of our parks?
Good morning. Pardon me as I reflect on what my notes are on this, because I failed to bring them up for this. But essentially, a brief recap includes expanding the shoulder seasons 1 month earlier and 1 month later. So we'd pick up 2 more months of operation, weather permitting. Old Farmer's Almanac is saying a tough winter this year. This might not be perfect this year for that, but we are going to try to exercise everything we can to leave all the parks and the restrooms open 1 month earlier and one month later going
Which
forward,
would be
includes
what time frame?
April through November.
And is
So we
that
pick up April and
April?
November.
Is that April 1st to November 1st, or
Yeah,
is it?
inclusive, yeah, April through
Is it
November.
April to November 30th?
Yes,
All through the month of April, all through the month of November?
yes.
Okay,
Again, weather permitting.
right,
Okay, because things freeze, so if we have a very tough winter, we can't do that.
Right.
We're gonna make every effort to try to do that.
okay,
Let's remember also that this funding doesn't come available until January. So, we're going to make an effort to see if we can work with the manufacturer of, some portable restrooms that, have, heat available in them. So, while those won't be in place in late November or December, as soon as we can get them, we could put those online. We would also modify, if the CIP is approved, as you said, Commissioner Jones, if the CIP is approved, we'll modify a couple restrooms and build another restroom that will be constructed with insulation and heating.
and you can do all that with a 350,000?
We're gonna do everything we possibly can to make that happen.
Okay. Which target ones do you know you'll be modifying, or is that still to be determined?
TBD, but we do have a big challenge at Millennium Park, because Millennium Park continues to get used heavily and aging heavily. So we're looking at that one new one that we would build would complement near the existing one at Millennium Park, and then 2 other parks. But again, we'd have those portable ones that we could, wherever the need demands, like if there was to be some event, possible winter event at a park, then those could be placed over there. When I say portable, I mean literally trailer mounted with heating
Yep.
and such. Yeah, so we're very excited about that. We think going into this season, it's going to hit and help all your points that you've all requested.
Thanks. I thought that was just worth
thank you for
additional
letting me share that.
detail while we were all here. Any other commissioner miscellaneous this morning? All right, seeing none, we will adjourn. Our next meeting is October 5th, and we'll see everybody then.
I am Kent County. I am Kent County.
I am Kent County.
We are 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 Kent County.
Bayard, Kent County. Ami, Kent County.
Somos, Kent County.
Mas Ira, Kent County.
We are Kent County.
We are Kent County.
We are Kent County. Oh, yeah.